Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I kind of want to come here. It's way too early to even talk about who is expected to win anything next year or who's expected not to win anything next year. But I think there are a lot of people who are starting to make those conversations happen right now before teams are even built, before the draft is even taking place, before free agency even opens up, which I think is crazy. It's absolutely insane. You don't know what the NBA is going to be next year at all yet. The season ended yesterday, and we have a brand new landscape coming in. There will be pieces moving around. To what degree, who knows? But every year there are pieces moving around that change what you're going to see. Now, could there be some carryover from last year? Certain teams you expect to come back? Yes, there are teams we expect to come back. Boston Celtics, we definitely expect to come back. They should look the same. If they do anything, they should maybe add a facilitator, maybe a couple extra bench guys. But their overall core, I think they would be wise to bring it right back. I think the Bucks will be similar next year. I don't think they're going to make any drastic changes, but there will be teams like Utah who are going to look a lot different. I think, um, you know, obviously the Los Angeles Lakers are another team that's going to look a lot different. So it's kind of hard to see who's going to be what. I think the Phoenix Suns are going to look a lot different because I don't think Aiton's coming back. In fact, I'm pretty damn certain Aiton's not coming back because they don't have the money. So he's going to be in another place and he's going to shift the power of things. If the Phoenix Suns slip out and Aiton's no longer a part of it, who's going to be the big there? Is it going to be somebody in another massive position to replace Ayton? And if so, how does that change the things in their situation? So it's a lot of moving pieces, man. Teams will be coming back. I expect the Pelicans to be better. Obviously, we're looking at OKC. They'll have an entirely healthy team. I think that's an up-and-coming team that could really do some damage, believe it or not, especially with them having the second pick in the draft. There's a lot to be said for teams getting better. There will be some teams that regress, maybe even some surprises in that way. But what I'm listening to is people crown the LA Clippers champion today, before all of this is even possible, before anybody knows anything. And my thing about their team is this: because we don't know what they're going to be like next year, the only thing I can really hang my hat on in regards to the Clippers is the core, just like any team. And I can't say that I see that core that's had infinite troubles staying healthy, infinite amounts of trouble staying healthy. And some key areas that they're going to have to fill, that they're going to have to figure out how they're going to fill those key areas to make them a championship level team. I can't see them overtaking a team like the Warriors, who I expect to be back next year healthy. I can't expect them to overtake a team like Memphis, who I expect to be back the same as they were last year, or Minnesota, who I don't expect to make major changes. These are teams that are going to be able to carry over. I think, like I said, changes could be made. Who knows? But at the end of the day, if I'm going to sit here and look at the landscape that I know for a fact and look at the different cores that I think are going to compete for the championship, I'm not landing on Kawhi and PG as the core that I think is going to be healthy enough to make it through the season and overcome all of these different teams. I don't see it. I don't see it at all. They have a lot of things they need to work on. They need their point guard situation to be straightened out. They need to get a couple other players on their bench to strengthen what it is that they have. And the most importantly, of course, they need to get Kawhi Leonard healthy and playing basketball again at a high level. And then that needs to be able to sustain throughout the season plus playoffs. PG ended the season basically healthy, even though we hit health and safety protocol at the end of the year, which was really, really unfortunate and strange. But, he's had his injury issues. He's a year older now. It's like, I don't know what they expect from Kawhi Leonard, but the best version of Kawhi Leonard is for him to be able to lock down the other team's best player and then be able to score a bunch of points and otherwise be effectively a glue guy if necessary. He hasn't been that type of defender in a long time. Now, he's still going to have active hands. He's still going to be elite in certain intangible areas that can help any team at any time. His shooting is still going to be elite. If his legs are underneath him, you know what he can do. He's one of the greatest players. But you got to understand that he hasn't been healthy. People talk a lot about Anthony Davis's health injuries, but Kawhi's are much worse. Not only are they worse, they're much worse. And he doesn't get nearly as much flack for it. And he is a bus driver. He's supposed to be considered the A1. He's the LeBron of the situation. over there in LA Clipperland. And now, after not being on the basketball floor for about a year or more, again, for like the third time in his career, you're hearing from pundits say that they think that this is going to be the best team in the Western Conference. And I think that is something that they are going to have to show me some evidence other than what I see in my mind's eye to make me think that that's not laughable. Like, simply laughable. All right? Now, both of those guys can be healthy throughout the entire season and they retool properly. Sure, they can be a playoff contender for sure. They're a contender. But to say they're the overwhelming favorites after watching what Steph Curry just did, and knowing what other teams are out there, looking at what Memphis is going to be bringing right back, looking at Minnesota and what they're bringing right back, looking at San Antonio and knowing they just made the playoffs, looking at the Rockets knowing they got another lottery pick. It's a bunch of teams. The Pelicans got picks. Getting better. It's like the Clippers are in the boat. I look at the Clippers in the same boat as us. They need to make a real honest decision about the core that they have, because they mortgaged all their picks just like we did trying to get Paul George, and now they're in a position where they're relying upon two guys that are not reliable to stay healthy in order to lead themselves to the promised land. And I don't like their odds at all. And despite listening to people like Stephen A. Smith, who are already ready to, give him a chance, or whomever it was, I don't know who all picking them, but it's more than one person from what I understand. It's like, guys, I know they're going to come back a very deep team, but we have to see what they do with their center position. We got to see what they do with their point guard position. We got to see if they retool their bench. And most importantly, we got to see if Kawhi Leonard's going to actually step back on the court this season, because I have my doubts that he actually will. I really do. I don't know that he's even coming back this season again. So it's like, I think people are just, they're really looking at that team and they're just assuming some things that are not logical to assume at this point. So that's what I wanted to say. You know what I mean? I'm not looking at my Laker team who's won a championship with that core and our injury issues and saying, yo, we're the favorites to win a championship. I essentially look at our odds similar to the Clippers' odds, to be honest with you. I do know they have a more set, bunch of players and stuff like that. No Russell Westbrook contract to deal with, but I believe we're getting rid of that. I truly believe it's not going to be as hard to get rid of it as we're acting like it will be. And so it's like, all we got to do is retool properly. I think the Lakers core is much more reliable with LeBron James and Anthony Davis than the Clippers core with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. I don't think that's even up for debate. And neither one of these cores are reliable at this point based on those health issues. But come on, man, stop playing with us. Stop playing around, period. And let's see what these teams put together before starting to crown anybody. That's my point of view. So that's what I got. My name is BDL44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.